Okay, so the different types of network we have is our LAN, local area network, MAN, metropolitan area network, WAN, wide area network, and PAN, personal area network. So by the time we were learning only the different types of network, and that is categorized on the basis of the distance between the different systems. Like if it is to the small office or something kind of, we prefer using LAN. If it is across the country, we prefer it using WAN. So that is what our different types of networks are. Now on the basis of the different types of network, now we have different types of topologies. So that word topology, what does it mean? That how do you lay out your structure? See, if different computers are connected with one another, there are various ways in which they can be connected. They can be connected either in this way, in a kind of ring. They can be connected in the form of star. They can be connected in the form of bus. So there are various ways of connecting your systems with one another. So the way you connect your system with one another is your topology. So what does the topology say? Is that how do you connect your different systems? The layout of connecting the different systems with one another is your topology. So now there are different ways, different patterns of interconnecting the system. So among that, we'll discuss how many patterns do we have for that. Let's just let me. Uh, I don't know why Aditya could not enter into the class. He's trying very hard to enter into the class, but is it joined now? Yeah,
Ma'am,
they're
it's
fine.
good.
Okay, so by the time Aditya, we have already discussed what are our network topologies. So here network topology says that how are you laying out the structure. That means how your systems are connected with one another. So if we say that there are multiple systems with one another, and when they will connect with one another, how do they connect? It's all about your topology. So it can be connected in the form of like this network, fully connected network. They can be like in the form of mesh, that means all messy with one another. They can be connected in the form of star. You can see the shape is over here as a star, or it can be in the form of ring. So there are many ways in which the systems can be connected with one another. So all those ways, the way you connect with one another is your network topology. So we can define the network topology is the pattern of interconnection of nodes in a network is called topology. How the network nodes are connected, interconnected with one another is said to be as your topology. So now there are different types of topology. So how they can be connected? They can be connected in many ways. So different type of topology involves your point-to-point topology, star topology, ring topology, graph topology, bus topology, tree topology, and your mesh topology. You do not need to write all of this because that's already there in the soft copy given to you. You can write it into the short form if you want. So there are almost 7 topologies which have been there, which can be used for different kind of networking, for setting up different types of networking. So we'll be discussing first about the point-to-point topology. So what actually it does, it basically what does it do that there are, you can see the picture over here, that there are two systems are connected to the wire. Now there are two different wires. One is for transmitting the signal, another one is for receiving the signal. First thing, that point to point connection or topology says that the two systems are connected together with one another without any intermediate system. So point to point says that two systems are connected with one another. They can transmit or they can receive the data directly. They do not need any intermediator between them to transmit or receive the data. Now, they can, here you in the picture you can see that they have used two cables for transmitting one and for receiving one, but you can also use one cable only for transmitting and as well as for receiving. Now this was the main phenomena, that if two systems can get connected through the wire for networking, how can we connect many other systems? So this point to point topology has led to the invention of so many other topologies like mesh, star, bus, graph. All the topologies are an invention of point-to-point topology only. When they discovered point-to-point, they thought of that if we are connecting two systems with one another, we can use the same phenomena for connecting so many other systems also. So that is what our point-to-point topology says. Now, with every phenomena, there are some advantages as well as there are some disadvantages. So, what is the advantage? That it is faster and highly reliable. Why it is so faster and reliable? Because we are directly communicating with one another. And if we will communicate directly from one to one, that would be quite faster. Instead, if I have a third person and if I'll communicate my message to third and then third person will communicate it to you. So that would be like time consuming. Automatically, if one node gets increases and it transfers your message from here to there, the time increases. So that is why this is more faster and highly reliable, because one-to-one communication is always reliable, trustable. Second point we have is that we do not need an expensive server. As I mentioned in before class, that when we were talking about server is a machine that should be highly capable than the nodes. Why? Because server is dealing with 10 other machines at a time. So server should be highly configured than as compared to a node. So if you want a high configuration server, obviously it will be expensive. But in point-to-point topology, you do not need any server because you can directly communicate with one another. So that is the reason that you do not need any server and you can directly communicate with one another. Third point, it says that no need of any dedicated network technicians because each user sets their permission. Now see, if only two systems are in connection with one another, they can easily set their permission and they can easily allow another system to get the things from their system or from another system. So only thing depends is your permissions, which can be done by the individual user. Whereas if so many systems are involved, we definitely need a network staff to set up the connections between the different machines. But if only two machines are there, two nodes are there, we can do it easily with the help of our own permissions. Permissions means network settings can be done in our own systems to communicate with any another system, but it should be nearby. It should not be at far distance from one another. So these are the three advantages. Repeating it again, it is faster and reliable. Then it does not need expensive servers. So it is cost effective. And then it does not need any network technician or staff members because you can do it yourself since only two systems are connected to one another. Then what are the disadvantages for it? So the biggest disadvantage is that since if two networks are connected and they should be then in proximity to one another. They should not be so far away from one another. They should be in separated by small area. That is its disadvantage. That even if you are connecting two systems with one another and they're communicating with one another, then they should be confined to a small area. Next, you can't back up your files and folders centrally. Since you do not have a server now, so you cannot back up your files over there. Whatever the files you'll be having, it will be it with you or the next system with which you are communicating. So if you do not have centrally any backup, and in case if you lose your system or your node, you lose entire files and folders. That is a disadvantage of it. Next, there is no security besides the permission. See, the permissions you have given to only one system. Now, but since the permissions are there to open get connected with a system, and another system can also get connected without your permission. So in that case, the security is so less. So there is no security. So repeating again the advantages, that advantages is faster and highly reliable. Then it needs an expensive server. Then it needs a dedicated network technician. No need of dedicated technician, and even it is not expensive. It is not expensive and does not require any network technician. Discussing about the disadvantages, it should be in the smaller area. Then you can't back up your files or folders. And then a security issue will always be there with point-to-point topology. Now, point-to-point topology has led to the invention of all other topologies. So, discussing our first, the main topology, star topology. Now, this in star topology, where all the systems are connected in the form of star. You can see it's not actually like a star, but the symbol actually resembles more like your star. Here, all the systems are connected to the central system. So, the central system is said to be as your hub, HUB hub. So, this topology consists of a central node, which is said to be as hub, to which all other nodes are connected by a single path. That means this is your hub and all the systems are connected to a single cable. If there are 5 systems, there would be 5 cables. If there are 6 systems, there would be 6 cables. That means your cables depends on your number of systems. Since all the systems are connected to your server by using a single cable. You can see the example over here that there are 4 systems which are connected to the hub, and hub is referred to be as generally as a server over here because it shares all the information. So if there are 4 workstation, 1, 2, 3, and 4, then there are 4 cables also, 1, 2, 3, and this 4 cables. Now they all are connected to the server. So if this workstation wants to talk with this workstation, that means wants to send some signal or data, this has to send to first the server, and the server will then send it to this workstation. Now see, how server will know that this workstation's data has come from this one. So instead of this and this, what do they say? That I already told you yesterday that all the physical address, that means address of each machine, is been written on a card, that is your NIC, network interface card, which is having an address written on it, and then address is said to be as your MAC address. So when it sends some signals, the address is also sent along with it. The server just reads the address, destination address, and then it sends to the particular device from whose and MAC address has been mentioned over the data. So this is the way how they communicate in star topology. Everything comes to the server, and then server resends to the signals to the other devices. This is what your star topology is. Any doubts? Okay, so moving forward. So now we know that the star topology is like this, which is having a hub and so many systems are connected to it. So now what are the advantages of it? The first advantage is that it is easy to install, easy installation. Why easy installation? Because each system is connected to a hub. So you can easily connect your own system to the hub. You can easily connect your own system to the hub. So the installation is quite easy. Next we have is one device per connection. So problem diagnosis. Now see, since each device is connected with one network cable to the central hub, suppose if this device stops working, so in that case, server could identify easily that which particular node is not working. So that problem diagnosis means which particular node is creating that problem has become quite easy in case of star topology. Because if that particular node is not working, server will easily identify that they are not receiving or getting the signal from that particular node. So the problem diagnosis is easily. Also, the problem isolation is also easy. Now, diagnosis means you can identify the problem easily. Isolation means you can remove the problem easily. So 2 point advantages are over there. That if you know that this problem, this node is creating the problem, you can easily isolate the node from here. And so in that case, you can easily isolate the problem, whatever the node is creating the problem. So that is what your one device per connection problem diagnosis is also easy, and problem isolation is also easy. Simple access control, because the network layout is very simple, very easy. So you can easily know that which particular system is sending you the data and which particular system is receiving the data. So in that way, it is very easy star network is very easy to deal with, to talk or to communicate or to send signal and to receive signal. Next we have is less amount of cables are required. Why less amount of cables are required? Because each system is connected to the hub. It is not like that both the systems are also connected. It is only connected to the hub. So in that way, only one cable is required. So the cable required is also less. Robust, how can it be robust? Because even if one link fails, other will still work. How come? Because you can see in the picture that if this fails and if I remove this, then also it will not impact the other four nodes in the same star topology. So that way, if you remove one of the nodes, even the four nodes will still be working. So that is what your advantage of star topology. Again, repeating the advantages, it is easy to solve, easy to identify the problem with the node, easy to remove that problem from the star topology, easy to talk, easy to send and receive the signal. Less amount of cables will be required as they are connected only to hub. It is more robust. That means even if one gets failed, one node gets failed, other will still be working. The system will still be working, connection will still be working with the another system. That will not be affected. But then along with advantages, there are some disadvantages also. So what could be the disadvantage? The first disadvantage is your cost. How come the cost is your disadvantage? Now see, for connecting the system, you need only one cable, but its maintenance, since it is connected to server, all the things are connected to server. Its maintenance and installation cost is so much because everything has been done by server. Server needs to be more powerful and to be maintained. So its installation cost and maintenance cost is quite high. The cost of the cable is not high, but its maintenance and installation problems cost can be high. Difficult to expand because if 5 nodes are connected to only one hub, so that is quite easy. But if 10 nodes are connected to one central hub, a hub is only responsible for sending and receiving data. So in that case, if 10 hubs will be there, so it will be very difficult for one single hub to just transmit and receive all the requests coming from all the different nodes. So it is difficult to expand. Next, you have your central node dependency. Now see, everything in star topology rotates around and around only your hub. So in that case, if everything is on hub, you cannot, if your hub gets failed, even after maintenance, if your hub gets failed, the entire network gets failed because everything is dependent on your hub. So if hub gets failed, entire network will get failed. So that is the way, this is what the disadvantages of your star topologies are. One is your cost, then it is very difficult to expand, and then it's central node dependency. That means if one node, if central node is gone, everything will go. All the data will be lost by you. It will not be with you then anymore. So this is what your advantages and disadvantages. Before moving further, if you have any doubts, you can ask me now. This is very important even from the exam point of view. Any doubts? What is star topology? What is advantage? What is disadvantage?
No, ma'am.
Yes. Anyone?
Ma'am, can you explain?
Can you please be louder?
Ma'am, in star topology, can you show the slide of advantages? In that, I have a doubt.
In star topology, advantage. What do you have a doubt?
Ma'am, in simple access protocol.
Simple access protocols means they can communicate with one or another node very easily because all the control is to the hub. But since the amount of systems are very less, it can, and even hub is only responsible for transferring the data from here to there. So it is very easy for another system to just transfer the data and for hub to understand from where it is coming and from where they have to go. Means the control is only with the hub. So that's why it become very easy for hub and for the other systems to get connected to one another. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
You can simply write that your access protocols are very simple. That means you can access the data from one system to another becomes very easy in case of hub, because each node do not need to put their own mind that from where the data is coming and from where the data is not coming. They are just sitting idle, just transmitting the data, and whatever the query is there, hub has been giving them the answer for that. So everything is with the hub. So in that way, their access becomes easy. That's why it is written simple access. The access becomes very easy for them. It is so moving on to the next topology, which is our bus or linear topology. What does it say? As the name suggests, bus. That means all the systems would be connected in the form of bus. You can see the picture. That one single line is there and the people are sitting here and there, here and there. So this is your bus topology says that one single cable will be there and all the nodes will be connected to that cable using your dropping lines. These are the dropping lines which are connected with the tap, TAP over here. So this all the nodes are connected to the central line. That's what your bus topology says, that all the nodes should be in that way. So it consists of a single length of the transmission medium onto which the various nodes are attached. Now this topology is usually used for data communication where the host at one end of the bus communicates with the several terminals attached along its length. You can clearly take a picture of the bus in your mind that driver is there and all the people are sitting over there and in the bus they are just driving. You are just telling your information to the driver where to drop, where to pick up from, and he's just riding the bus. In the similar way, in the bus topology also, all the people are there, all the nodes are attached to one single terminal, and at the end of the bus, there would be one terminal, at the end of the bus, there would be host at one end, which will control all the signals coming from the bus. That means from all the signals coming from the nodes. It will get more clear to you by the picture. We'll see it one more time. See, it can be on either end. Host can be on any one of the end, or we can say in the term of network, it would be terminator. The terminator will be at both the ends, which will be responsible for sending or receiving signals. And where all the nodes will be attached to one single cable like this in the form of your bus. So in this, now the transmission of the data is always one way. You cannot send your data in both the directions. You can transmit your data from one station to another only in one direction. If you think that the data will be transmitted is to the left of the node, even then you'll be transmitting into the one direction only, and the host will read the signal and will retransmit it to the person which you need. That is how your bus topology works. The bus has terminators at either end, at both the ends, which absorb the signals, and if the signal requests are all done, if the data has been all done, it will move it from the bus. So that is how your bus works. Again, I will repeat that in bus topology, there are different terminals or nodes which are connected with one single cable. They can transmit their data in only one direction. Suppose if I'm transmitting high to node 2, then the data will be transmitted into the cable, but with high, the address will also be attached. So all the nodes will just see the data when it will come to when they will see that the address, if the address is not of that particular node, they will leave again the signal into the cable. So it will travel like that in one direction, and once they found the correct address, that will be the signal will be absorbed by that. And if the work is all done, that signal will be removed from the bus by the terminator. That means if it is not accepted by any one of them and it says that the work is all done, they got the receiving signal also, that will be removed from the bus. So the structure is like this, where so many terminals are connected to one another. We have terminator at the end. All the workstations are connected with one another. Now, when the data are being transmitted into this cable, they are generally in the form of small blocks, which are known as packets. Now, each packet they are having data bits and also a destination address, which I was telling you about. So, if destination address is there, each system, like if the signal is traveling from here, so each signal will take the data and will see that whether it is for my destination. No, then it will again send it into the cable. Then it will be taken by any another system, and then they will see whether it is my address. If it is not, so it will again throw it into the cable. In the same way, the data will travel, and once the work is done, it will be thrown out of the bus. The destination device or identifying address of the package copies the data onto its disk. This is how your bus works. Now, advantages of it: short cable length and simple wiring layout. Since only one cable is required, the middle cable to which all the systems are connected. So, very short cable is required, and simple wiring because nothing complex is there. Only one major cable is there with which all the systems are connected. Pre-silent architecture, that means very simple architecture is there. We do not have a complex architecture. There is a single cable and all the data propagates to which all the nodes are connected. That means architecture is almost same as your simple wiring layout. That the architecture of the bus is very easy to extend. If you want to extend it, you can always add more extra nodes to the bus. So that is why it is easy to extend. Coming on to its disadvantages, that if any of the nodes get failed, it is very difficult for you to diagnose that which particular node has been failed, because since everything is connected in the form of bus, so then you have to identification is very difficult, that which particular system has done that or has get failed, and identification is difficult. That's the only reason that its isolation is also difficult. If you cannot identify it easily, how will you isolate it from there, remove it from there? Now, suppose repeater configuration. That means if you want to attach many more systems to it. So if you want to attach many more systems to it, that it might be possible that if the first system sends a data for the last system, by the time it travels over there, its sounds or its energy gets reduced. So for that, then you have to use repeaters, which repeat your signal again to the same port. And if you use repeaters, its configuration again will be changed. You have to reconfigure your system again. So that's why if you increase the number of terminals, your configuration needs to be again changed. Last, nodes must be intelligent. Now see, nodes must be intelligent in the way that if one node is sending the data for the another node, then another node must be intelligent at least that he can identify that the address is mine and can take that signal from there. If he is not that much one intelligent to identify his own address, then the signal will keep traveling into the bus and they cannot, nobody would be able to take it, and finally it would be removed by the terminator from the bus. So that was all the disadvantages of your bus topology. The bus topology is also said to be as your linear topology. Any doubts in bus topology? Do you want to repeat again the advantages? That it requires short cable, its wiring or architecture is very simple, and it is very easy to extend. That means more node can be added. But if you add n number of nodes to it, it will require a repeater to resend your signal. And if you need a repeater, its configuration will be changed again. So that would be a disadvantage. It's very difficult to identify that who's creating a problem. And when it is difficult to identify who's creating the problem, it becomes more difficult to isolate it, to remove it from that particular line. And the last one, that nodes should be intelligent. If he cannot figure it out that it is for me, he doesn't know even his own address, it will become difficult for others also, and the data will keep traveling into the bus. So that's way the notes must be intelligent. Any doubts? We are done with our star topology and bus topology. There are many more topologies to come. But for now, star and bus topology is done, which is very important from the even exam point of view. Go through them again. You have a textbook, that means the soft copy of the book. Read it from there or Google it and find out more things about them and get it clear in your mind. Any doubts?